Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Gracie and I like to talk about books. Today we're going to talk about every book that I read in May, as well as the ones that I want to read in June. Okay, the stats for all the books I read in May. Here we go. I read 11 books. That was 3,839 pages. The average rating was 3.68, and I read 5 romance, 5 graphic novels, and 2 thrillers. So May was like, honestly, it was a pretty good reading month for me. I can't lie, but I kind of got in like a book slump towards the end, unfortunately. So, you know, it was hit or miss. Let's just get right into it, honestly. The first book I read of the month was King of Sloth. It was like one of my most anticipated reads of, there were like so many good books that came out in April. And King of Sloth, like I had been looking forward to it because I loved the first 3. The third one was my favorite in the Kingdom of Sin series. And so I was like so excited for this one. And honestly, her books kind of do this for me where it's like, I love it so much. I love all the angst in the beginning. And then once they get together, it just kind of like falls flat for me. If that makes sense. I don't know. I just like, I love her books in the first 50% of it. And then the rest of it, I'm like, okay. So Emily I gave that one 3 stars, which I'm kind of sad about. I mean, her books never really that highly rated for me, but it wasn't like, love this book. Like, I did not love it. I didn't even really like it that much. I didn't really love the trope either. The guy being like lazy, I don't know. I didn't love that. So yeah, I'm not gonna talk a lot about that book because I didn't love it. I don't know if I would necessarily recommend it either. Unfortunately, I'm still gonna continue to read her books probably, but not as excited about them, you know? So, but basically it's just like the Kings of Sin series are all billionaire romance books. That's about as much as I can tell you about it. They're all interconnected standalones as well. Next book I read was Taming 7. Taming 7. I was so looking forward to this book. I binge read. When I tell you, I binge read Joey and Aoife's books, and then this one came out, and I was like, I only had to wait like a week in between reading the last book and this one, and so I was so excited about it, and I did love it. What did I give it? I gave it 4 stars, but I think I gave it like a 4.5 on like a higher scale, but I loved this book, but I have some complaints about it. Okay? Some grievances, and I talked about this in another video. I'll go more in depth now, but basically if you don't know, the Boys of Tommen series, boys are rugby players or hurlers. Is that hurling? Is that the sport? I don't know. It takes place in like Ireland, but it's not just rugby players. Like it's not a sports romance. Like it is, but it's not. It's so much deeper than that. Like there's so much deep stuff going on. Like it's insane. Like I can't even, this series feels like the Addicted series, but it takes place in Ireland. Does that make sense? Like it is, this book to me is similar to like how I feel about the Addicted series, how I feel about Throne of Glass, how I feel about Akatar. Like that's how I feel about these books. Like these books they have my heart, okay? This is me about these books. I love them so much. And I can't recommend them enough, honestly. They're like, you might look up the trigger warnings because there's a lot of triggering stuff that goes on in them, especially this one actually was really deep. But I loved it because I love Gibbsy and Claire. Like, Gibbsy's one of my favorite characters that's ever been written. However, she did not do their relationship justice. And I understand that it wasn't supposed to be like a, what's the word? It's supposed to be like their relationship forming necessarily, because we already know that they have a relationship forming. But I wanted that. Like, I know, but I want it, you know? Like, I want to see all that. And the stuff Gerard had to go through, like, oh, I hate that for him. It's so awful. It's just like they didn't get the story they deserved. This was good, but it could have been better. Like, I always say, like, I wish she would just scrap this book and pretend it didn't happen and rewrite it better, because she did not do these characters justice. I still loved it though, and I would still recommend it, and I still recommend this series with my entire chest. I recommend it, but it is definitely more character driven. So if you like that, You'll love this. I recommend giving it a shot no matter what, okay? Please, please, please try. Just try. It's so good. The first book is Binding 13. I read the entire Heartstopper series. And let me tell you, so good. So good. They were so cute. I read all of them in like, I mean, I think it took me 20-30 minutes max to read each book. They're quick reads. They're so cute. The animation style is so freaking cute. And they're like, they're not super like intense, but they tackle big topics in like a young adult way, if that makes sense. And I liked that. It's like you're learning, like, young adults need this kind of representation, but not in like a, there are ways that people have done it wrong, you know, and this feels very right. I mean, obviously I can't like attribute to that because I don't experience this, but the way that she handled it and the big topics that she handles and like how to approach them was really good. I highly recommend this series. But basically it's these two boys and they're in, I want to say it's England, okay, Londonish, and Charlie's openly gay, like, and he's the only gay guy in his all boys school, and he becomes friends with Nick, and Nick convinces him to like play rugby with him and stuff, and Nick and Charlie end up, you know, forming a relationship. And so like it's like Charlie trying to like, Charlie has a bunch of issues that he's going throughout all the books, and it's like him trying to tackle those, and then Nick trying to tackle, you know, coming out and accepting who he is, as well as like trying to help Charlie with like what he's going through. So good. They're so good. I would give this like, I would say this was a 5-star series. I didn't give any of the books 5 stars, but they are a 5-star series, okay? And I can't really like do them separately. Like, it's a group, you know? I can't really talk about each individual one. It's just, that's the group. And they get better each one you read. Like, the first one was really good, and then I read the second one, I was like, wait, this is really good. And then I read the third one, and I was like, wait, this is even better. Like, they get better as you read them. Trust me, you need to read them. You need to. It's so cute. They're so cute. They're literally so cute. Like, the amount of pictures I have of like the pages on the book, like, they're so cute. Anyway, read it. I read The Graham Effect in April, the end of April, and I loved The Graham Effect, okay? But I hated the ending. Hated it. Hated it. I'm not gonna tell you what happened, but I hated it. Hey, I hated it. It's by Elle Kennedy, by the way, the off-campus spin-off series. So I read the Dixon Rule. I was really excited about the Dixon Rule coming out. Like, I was like, oh, all I want to do is read the Dixon Rule. Like, I can't wait for it to come out. Blah, 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 blah. I didn't like it, which is so disappointing. It's so disappointing because I'm like, hello? I really loved The Graham Effect, and I like the off-campus series. Like, it's good. That's like what got me into reading, right? But the Dixon Rule just really fell flat for me. I wish they had done in more of the off-campus characters' kids. Like, I thought that was like kind of the vibe we were going for. I didn't like, I don't know, I didn't really care for the characters. It's like Diana and Shane hate each other, and so it's like but like he has to help her do something. Sorry, it's like very vague, but I don't want to give away the plot, whatever. And with her, they end up like falling in love, obviously. Like, that's not a spoiler. That's not a spoiler. I don't know, it just felt really flat for me. I did not love their relationship. I didn't love them as characters individually. I thought what Shane was going through and like situation was really heartbreaking, but I didn't love either of them. This book really fell flat for me, I can't lie. Felt really flat for me. I was like, oh, okay, so I'm bored. Oh, okay, so this book is 500 pages of nothing. I don't know. It wasn't giving what I wanted it to give. It wasn't giving what The Graham Effect gave, okay? Stars. That was generous, okay? 3 stars was generous of me. I did not care for that book. I wouldn't recommend. Wouldn't, unfortunately. This is probably why I'm at reading slump. Oh. But then I read Sinners Anonymous. It's a mafia romance. Now listen, one thing about me, mafia romance is my guilty pleasure. Oh, it's so good. I love mafia romance, okay? Love it. This book was so good. For what it was, it's hard to find a good mafia romance, okay? That like meets all my needs. Like, it's really hard. This one was good. For what it was, what'd I give it? I gave it like 4.5 stars. Like, for what it was top shelf mafia romance content. There was only a little bit of stuff that I was missing from it that I could have like cared for, like I would have cared for a little bit more. It was so good. Basically, these guys, it's like a mafia though. It's like, it was weird because it's like on the coast of like Washington, which is a little odd. Like, you don't really hear that very often. And so it's like this big huge Italian family, and they've split this coast up into like different sections. And this girl ends up engaged to this old guy because she doesn't want him. There's like, he has something that she wants, and so the only way that she can protect what she wants is by marrying him, basically. But she hates him, obviously, and he's under the impression she's pure, and that's why he wants her, which is disgusting. Okay, I'm so sorry. Like, if you don't like mafia romance, like, I'm so sorry. Just skip. Okay, but so she's engaged to him and she hates him, and then the big dude of this other clan, he ends up coming back because he left. He washed his hands of the mafia life, and you'll find out why. But then he ends up coming back for a reason that I cannot say, and he meets this girl that's engaged, and he's like, wait a minute, I kind of like this girl. I kind of like her. And so they end up like having to do stuff together. Like, they end up crossing paths, you know? And yeah, that's it. I almost about gave away the ending. You get it. It was so good. I would absolutely recommend. And it's a great book, I think, to get into mafia as well. Like, I didn't think it was like too much. It wasn't very gory. Some of them can be pretty gory. That one wasn't very gory. The romance was good. The tension was so good. Yeah, like, I would recommend that one. You should read it. It was so good. And then I read The Teacher by Frida McFadden. And first Frida McFadden book I'd ever read, because I was in a book slump, okay? And I literally couldn't read anything. I was like, okay, I guess I'll just read a thriller. I need something that's gonna like, I was getting no feeling for books, okay? I wanted to read, but there was nothing I wanted to read. It was like, I was literally reading words on a page, which is, if you know, infuriating, okay? So I picked up The Teacher, and basically, like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, this girl and her husband are teachers at this high school, and there's like, their relationship has like fallen apart a little bit, and there's this girl at the school that is trouble, and so it's kind of like the three of them, and you're getting their interactions, and there may have been this girl may have been having an affair with this other teacher at the school who doesn't work there anymore, and so it's just like kind of like following along with the couple's marriage and like how they're falling apart, and then this girl and like what did she do. And it was pretty good, but it was slow. I can't lie, it was pretty slow. The plot twist I liked that it wasn't super scary. This one was not scary. It didn't give me like, ooh, I have the creeps. Like, I could have read it at night, you know, and I'm a scaredy cat, okay, but I could have read that at night. But it felt a little flat for what a thriller should have been, and I prefer little reveals, you know, or like a little bit of like, I want my adrenaline pumping a little bit, and I didn't get that with this book, but the reveal was really good. The ending, the plot twist was really good. I did predict it a little bit, but I would recommend it. As like a first-time thriller book, like I would recommend it. What'd I give it? Oh, I gave it 3 stars. It was pretty good, but it wasn't the best, you know? And then I read another Frida McFadden book, and this one, I read Never Lie. I really liked this one. It was so good. Basically, this couple just got married, and they go out, they're looking at this house to buy, this like big manor in the middle of nowhere, and the person that used to live there was a psychiatrist, and she disappeared 3 years prior, and no one knows what happened to her. And she's like, they end up getting snowed into this manor, and so they have to stay there for a few days, but like weird things keep happening. That's my favorite plot. It was so good. It was so good. It had me, I was locked in, okay? They really had me, I was in there, okay? And it was so good. The plot, you got little reveals, which I love. Little reveals. And the plot twist, I literally was like, oh my gosh, she got me. I never would have guessed. Never would have guessed that. It was so good. It was written very well. And I loved you go between the girl of the couple that just got married, you go from her point of view, and the psychiatrist who died's point of view, like way back. And then you also get transcripts from her sessions with some of her clients, the psychiatrist sessions. So good. I give that one 4 stars, but like 4.25. Like, I really enjoyed that one. 4.25 is really good for a thriller. So, anyway, that was all the books I read in May, and then we're gonna get into what I want to read in June. I feel like I have like a pretty good selection, but I'm still trying to get out of a freaking book slump. Like, I cannot get out of it. I want to read, but there's nothing I want to read. Which is so great. But first things first, which I have already started because we're a little bit into June, is I want to reread Happy Place, which, disregard the fact that the cover's not on here. I have already read this, and I lost the sleeve, and I just like the way it looks. How cute is this? Me and all my pink. But I've already read this, and this book is actually annotated. Let me see if I can show you, like, okay, girly loves this book, okay? But, wait, let me see if I can find a better page. Like, there was just one page I wrote all over. I just really loved this book, and I really want to feel something. And this book makes me feel 50 million things. So I was like, why not reread Happy Place, right? Anyway, so Happy Place, if you don't know, it takes place in Maine. Basically these college friends, like, they all get together one week in the summer to hang out at this beach house in Maine for this lobster festival, and Harriet and Wynn have to both go back there, but they have broken off their engagement and they haven't told their friends yet. And so it goes back and forth between real life, which is Harriet and Wynn. They have issues, you don't know what happened exactly, and they're trying to hide the fact that they're not engaged anymore from their friends. And then their Happy Place, which is when her and Wynn first got together and first started dating. Oh my gosh, like, so good. And so I'm already like 70 pages back into this, and it's just as good as it was the first time. Maybe it won't be a 5-star again, but I probably will. I love this book. It's just like, gosh, this might be like my #1 book I've ever read, especially because Wynn reminds me a lot of my boyfriend, and so that makes me, I love that. But yeah, so this book is the love of my life. I love it. So, reading that. Also on the topic of Emily Henry. Funny story. Oh, hi, that's ugly. But look how cute. Oh my gosh, it's literally so cute. I can't wait to read this one. Basically, from what I gather, it's they both were dating someone, and so these people that, bear with me, I'm gonna explain it, okay? The people that they were dating are now dating each other, and so they've moved in with each other, and so these people need somewhere to live, and so they end up living together. But hence, it's a funny story, like how they met, you know? That's all I know so far. But I've heard it's really good. Well, it's like, I've heard mixed reviews. People either really love this one or they don't. I kind of am leaning towards I'll probably love it though. So, but from what I hear, it's pretty good. And I just love her quotes. Like, gosh, her quotes hit so hard. So I'm excited to read that one. I honestly feel like I gave that one 5 stars. Not to put too much pressure on myself, but I feel like I'm probably going to give it 5 stars. The next one is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I don't own this one, but like, I will own this book by the end of the summer. I feel like I'm gonna give that book a 5 stars. Like, I need to read it, and I have yet to read an Abby Jimenez book, and everyone has given it 5 stars. Like, I know it's gonna be so good. I can't wait to read it. But basically, it's like these two people, every person that they date and then break up with, that person finds the love of their life right after, and it happens to both of them. And so they're like, we should date and see what happens if it happens to us, because like, you get it, okay? That's all I know about it. But I know everyone loves it, and I have heard it is her best work yet, and so I'm super excited about it. Like, I cannot wait. I need to read that. I need to get my hands on it so I can annotate it, because I have a feeling I'm gonna want to annotate it. Then I want to read the new Christina Lauren book, Paradise Problem. Yeah, the Paradise Problem. Okay, it's like a goofy kind of like grocery store heiress kind of vibe. I don't know. I just know it's gonna be good, and I want to read it. Then I want to read Same Time Next Summer I also don't know what this is about. I know it's like this girl and she's engaged and she goes back to her hometown and like sees her ex-boyfriend, I think. But everyone loves this author and I've yet to read her books, and so I need to read it. Basically is what that's all there is to that. Don't you just love that? Me being like, I actually don't know what this is about. How informative. But honestly, I love going in blind, and like I feel like so many people now love going in blind that like I don't need to over explain what books are about, because you don't want to know either. You just want to know what I'm reading. This is the plan, you know? Ashley Poston's new book comes out this month, and I loved The 7 Year Slip. So I want to read a novel love story. And then, okay, so from what I gather, it's like this girl is a professor and she gets stuck in a story? Question mark? I don't know. And I don't want to read the synopsis because I want to be surprised. But that book doesn't come out to the end of the month, so who knows if we'll get through that. But I want to read it nonetheless. So, anyway, well, that's all for today's video. If you liked it, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, everything. And hopefully I'll see you again really soon. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.